Hey, I want to take some time today to talk about something that I think is a very serious threat to the freedom of the citizens of this country today, and that threat is red flag laws. Now, I know a lot of people are on the fence about red flag laws, and the only reason they are on the fence is because they're being fed a line of total bullshit by the NRA and their little paid monkeys and spokesmen like Collier Noir and Hickok 45, who go out there and are more than happy to feed you a line of bullshit as long as it keeps the money coming in. So stop listening to those assholes. They're selling you garbage to try to strip you of your rights, because that's how the NRA makes its money, is stripping you of your rights and then making you scared about it and having you give them money. So stop listening to them. The truth about red flag laws is, like I said, they are one of the greatest affronts to our freedom in this country. One of the greatest protections of a free citizen is due process. Red flag laws remove due process. No matter what John Hickok told you about how, oh, it's still due process, it's got to go in front of a judge and blah, blah, blah. That's bullshit. The way these laws are written, it completely removes due process. For one, it completely excludes the person accused from the process. They can offer no defense. They're not even allowed to be involved or know of the process. That's not due process. Also, these laws don't set up a place or a system where a judge can look at a case and go, you know, I think this is a dangerous situation, I'm going to issue a protective order. No, it creates a situation where a judge's hands are tied. It creates a rubber stamp for protective orders, meaning if a person fills out the right form, the judge has to rubber stamp it. And then the police have the authority to go seize a person's firearms after they not only have not been included in the process, there's been no process whatsoever. It was a rubber stamp. So these people have neither been convicted nor even actually accused of an actual crime, yet their rights are removed from them by law enforcement. These laws are dangerous. Some states are even taking it to the next step now. Some states, like Washington, are saying, well, we want it to go even further. We want it to be where if an officer is ever on a domestic violence call, even if no one is charged, you have to remove all the firearms from the home. If someone is charged, you definitely have to remove all the firearms from the home, regardless of who they belong to. Meaning, if you have two couples sharing a house and one couple gets into an argument and the police show up and take one person to jail, they seize the firearms of every person in that household. And to me, that makes no sense. Because if that one person is to get out of jail and come back and try to do harm, wouldn't you want the people left in the house to be armed and be able to defend themselves? That just doesn't make sense to me. In fact, when it comes to protective orders and restraining orders against individuals who they're so worried are going to go back and shoot somebody, which is a very tiny percentage of the time. And let's keep in mind that just because you take someone's gun and he wants to kill his wife doesn't mean he's not going to kill his wife. People get strangled every day or beaten to death with pipes or, whatever. So that whole notion that without a gun, in fact, if you look at a lot of the most famous spouse killings in the last several years, they haven't been by guns, they've been by strangulation. So pretending that if you take his guns, she's totally safe. That's ridiculous. The way she'd be safer is if she had a gun in case he comes back beating on the door. That's how the women would be safer, not these red flag laws to disarm the people who have been, not, like I said, not even accused of a crime, much less convicted of one. So red flag laws are a great threat. They are something that no American citizens should support. No one should ever support the suspension of due process. Now, like in Washington, I got to stand there in the court hearing, or the actual Senate hearing, while the police officers stood up there one after one going, well, we arrest these people, and then before we can even have a protection order issued, they get out of jail and they're back home. So what if they decide to do something violent? Well, here's a good idea. If someone you arrest or you think is violent, don't let them out until they've been arraigned. Or get the protection order quickly before they're let out. How about you do your fucking job instead of saying, well, we just want a scapegoat mechanism that we can misuse anytime we want to and abuse anytime we want to. Because that's what red flag laws are. Any person can go in pretty much and say, I think this guy's dangerous, and I want his guns taken from him. It can be a niece, a neighbor, a best friend, a family member, an ex-wife. Anyone who has a grudge against you can go, I think they're dangerous. I filled out the right form. Go take their guns. That is a complete suspension of due process. It's the elimination of due process, and no one should support it. And for people like the NRA and Hickok and all their other cronies of the NRA, when they support it, they should be ashamed of themselves. And you should let them know they should be ashamed of themselves. So there's no excuse for it. They know it's not due process. They know it's not appropriate. They're just willing to say it because it fills their pockets with cash. So hold them accountable for what they say. Pay attention to the actual laws, because red flag laws are a horrible thing. They're un-American. They are the elimination of due process, and none of us should allow them to become law.
Oops.
Go ahead.
It's the lady at 46 South Road. 46 South Road.
Greenfield. Station 1 call, retone that please. 10-4. Captain 4 to go to that location also. This is 19, is that correct?